And away we go. So thanks so much, everyone, for being here today. There might be a few more people that pop in or that watch this afterward. So my name is Merle Massie, and I'm the coordinator of the Undergraduate Research Initiative here on campus. And one of the programs that I run is SURE, the Student Undergraduate Research Experience. And I just want to give you guys just that overview look of what SURE is, how it works, and what it can do for you. I'm not expecting everybody to join, but maybe you already have, and that's why you're here and just want to learn a little bit more. But if you haven't, there's going to be some links that you can use. So I want to forward my slide. As a settler Canadian of Scottish, Irish, Norwegian, Swedish, and Ukrainian tradition, I am filled with gratitude to live within Treaty 6 territory and the homeland of the Métis. I give respect to the First Nations and Métis of this place, not just the ancestors, but those here with us today, and continually value our interconnectedness through Wekutuwin. I too love this land of vast skies and tall trees, Saskatoons and blueberries, and the swift and slow waters of the Saskatchewan River. This is my own personal land recognition that I created with the Gwen Moss Center. And if you do have a chance to go through their program of doing that, I do recommend it. It takes about half a day, but it's well worth your time. So I always like to kind of I'm a historian, so I do like to tell you guys a little bit about where did SURE start. So the Office of Undergraduate Research here at the University of Saskatchewan, my office, has been around for a long, long time. And we've always helped summer students who have done research experiences. And so we did a survey and we asked them, what more can we be doing to support you? And they said they wanted additional training and support in building their research skills, not just what they need to know to work in that particular lab or that particular research project or that particular field, but just that additional training and support, and also connections to other students who are also conducting undergraduate research. And so those are the two things that the students asked for. So we also asked faculty supervisors, and we designed the SURE program using their feedback. And so we put those two together and came up with SURE. So we started it as a pilot program in May of 2020. So SURE to date has always been a creature of the pandemic. So you'll find that most of the time it's because I've done it for so long, it's easier for me to do webinars. So right now we're transitioning to do more in-person things, but I still want to keep the webinar function and the ability to record. And so you'll always see me using Zoom and recording things as much as possible. But yeah, so we're moving to hybrid and doing more in-person, particularly social events. So what is SURE? So it's an explicit focus on skills. So this is over and above your classes and over and above any job that you happen to land as an undergraduate student. But we focus on skills so that you can train for them if you've never seen them before, practice them if they're kind of new to you and you want to develop them, and to develop them. So we do that. The reason why we set it up this way is that it's a co-curricular record, which means it can be visible on your student transcript. And this is very, very important because up till now, your research experiences show up as jobs, but all that additional training that goes into a research experience wasn't really showing up on your transcript. So we wanted a way to do that. So we make it visible on your transcript. We try and complement your disciplinary training. So we centralize what we can. So things, especially around communication, so how to do a literature review, how to do a research poster, how to give an oral talk. We cover a lot of these sorts of things. So we centralize what can be, and we centralize quite a bit around professional development as well. So we do a lot of work in professional development. And we try and keep surveying students and faculty to kind of make sure that we're still in alignment with what you guys need, depending on where you're at. We do support both. So if you're just taking a research-based course, or maybe a capstone class, or you're thinking about doing an honors thesis, those are projects as well. And so a lot of what we do in the SURE program is not just for the summer students, but anyone who's conducting a research or taking a research class. Hopefully we've developed some resources that will help you. And students have told me so. In fact, I've had lots of students who will write to me and they'll say, we were taking a research class and I was using the stuff because I'm in SURE. And so I was watching all the videos. I shared all the videos with the students in my project group because they found them really helpful too. And so we try and grow it that way. And the last point is to connect students to one another, because we don't want any undergraduate student to feel like they're the only one doing this, because when you're an undergraduate student and you're doing research for the first time, there's a lot of hiccups, there's a lot of challenges, there's more that you don't know than that you know, and we want to make sure that everyone feels kind of connected to one another. So that's part of what we do with the SURE program. So how do we recruit students? Well, a lot of you probably saw it on either through our social media. So we have a whole bunch of social media. We are on Instagram, we are on Twitter, we are on Facebook. We have a Discord channel, which I'm not real good at Discord, so it's student run, but I try and post stuff there when I remember. We post everything on pause. And so all the events that we do, I post them on pause. So if you miss an email from me, then yeah, just check your pause. Students register for short emails. So if you've already registered, that means that you have gone into our, like it just says, name and NCID and email. Basically, that says that you allow me to send you emails. That's really all that registration for SURE really means. It just means, yes, I will accept your emails, which is great, because that's all that I need for privacy, considerations around the university, right? And then I used to close it and then reopen it every term. And I realized, well, that's dumb, because a lot of students, once they join SURE, they kind of want to stay with it, because sometimes there'll be opportunities and there'll be things that I tell you guys about, or there may be jobs that a professor will send to me and I just send it out to the SURE students, and then, you guys get first dibs on them, right? And so students will just stay with the program. So I thought, well, I don't need to just reset everybody up. Like when you're done with SURE and you're tired of getting emails with me, just unsubscribe. Okay, that makes it easier on my end, and then, away you guys go. So you can unsubscribe. That's the way that we've done it now. We've moved to that this summer, so you can just unsubscribe at any time. I post this because it's a link directly to our SURE page, and I posted in a couple of spots. So if there's someone who's not yet signed up and you want to, that'll show up again. I have set this, hopefully you've seen this one across campus on the come on in, on various, those big, screens, and so to let other people know about SURE and the registration that's open all the time. So I do lots of events. We do have access to lots of training, and I'll talk about that, and the connections, and again, that co-curricular credit. So those are the things that we try and put together into the one basket. So what does that training look like? So I am part of the Office of the Vice President of Research, which is why this is my mandate. We want every student who comes to the U of S to have a research experience, whether it's in a class or whether it's a summer experience, or whether some students actually conduct research on their own. Independent research is supported in some cases. So the part of the Office of the Vice President of Research that I belong to is called Research Acceleration and Strategic Initiatives. So this is considered a strategic initiative by the university to support you. But I'm the spider in the corner. That's why I put the spider web in there, because what I do is that I connect you guys as much as possible, or I connect in other experts from across the campus. Our largest partner is the library. And because a lot of the sessions that the library, I don't know if you've seen all the pause announcements of all the things going on at the library, but most of those are accepted within the SURE program. Safety services, so any of the lab safety, COVID-19 safety stuff, all of that can qualify towards it. Career services does a lot of our professional development work for us, which is great. So the Canadian Hub for Social and Applied Research, CHASER, they do some of our training as well. They have in the past. Skipper has done some as well, the Glenna Moss Center. That's where your professors go to learn how to teach, but they do a lot of work for us as well, which is great. The College of Graduate and Postdoctoral Studies, which is just up the road here, the hallway, support us particularly financially, because you guys are their future graduate students. So they want to find a way to support you as much as possible. And so they do. And Research Excellence and Innovation supports us with a whole bunch of entrepreneurship support. So if any of the students in the SURE program are interested in entrepreneurship, there's a bunch of entrepreneurship training and the international office. So those are some of the offices across campus that support us and gift us with particular events and training. One thing about SURE is that it's probably at its most robust in the summer, because I've got 300 students that I can help and support that are doing summer research across campus. And so we kind of run the summer SURE program from May to the end of August, sort of from literature reviews all the way through to applying for jobs and kind of everything in between. And so it's kind of, and in the summer, the library doesn't run special seminars. They run all their seminars through the SURE program, and they'll send any graduate students there as well. In the fall and winter, we switch up our SURE training a little bit more that this is what research is at the university. Connect in with us. If you think about that, you want a research job, explaining how research works at the university. And we do a lot of, in the fall in particular, we do a lot of connector pieces, faculty student recruitment events. So faculty will come, they'll present on their research, students can listen and say, oh yeah, I'm interested in what you're doing, and connect and maybe get a job. We ran 2 of those last fall, and we had over 10 students land jobs with professors. So we know that that works. And so we want to continue with that. So in the fall, we do a lot more of that recruitment work. In the winter, we switch again, and we do a little bit more of that professional development and more of that personal development, things like imposter syndrome, which a lot of students face, and things like that we work on. So if you see that the summer program is more robust, it is. But at the same time, even the fall and winter stuff, you can always access anything that we've done before and watch it again, because they're all on our YouTube channel, which I'll talk about. So the way we designed it is this: it's all about student choice. So depending on where you are in terms of your research journey, we guide you to a certain extent, but only to a certain extent. So we put it into 3 baskets, and I'm sorry, this is quite small for those of us in the room. The 3 baskets are communications, research skills, and professional skills. So communications are things like literature searches, academic writing, public writing, poster, how to make a poster, how to write a journal article, how to write an abstract, how to write an application for graduate school, all kinds of things like that, right? So communications. The second basket is called research skills, but it includes data management, which if you only take one, if you only watch one video or take one live session, please let it be about data management, because you will all do much better in your classes if you learn some of the practical aspects of how to manage even the stuff that you submit to your professors, and manage that really well and keep track of it inside your computer. So data management is by far my favorite of the things that we do, but we also do support you if you need ethics training, if you need animal ethics, if you need human ethics, if you need lab safety, all of that's covered. Ethics also covers citations. So any of the citations and how to cite properly that the library does for sessions like that, or copyright, all of that kind of stuff. That goes under research skills, because those are they sound technical and sometimes dumb, but they're really important for doing your research well. A lot of students also, I can't give you a specific path on how to move through SURE, because you're all coming from different backgrounds, right? Some of you might need something like, you need to learn Python, you need to learn ArcGIS, or in vivo if you're a historian like me, or various other things. So the time that you spend on learning some of those technical programs, some of you might just need to learn Excel, because you got to use Excel for the first time. That happens a lot for undergraduate students. That's fine, that can be included. And then the third basket is professional skills. And that's where our networking, job hunting skills, onto all the entrepreneurship modules can fall under that, and EDI and Indigenous knowledge. We also do a lot of work with the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. So what we do is that students have to take 2 hours within each of these 3 baskets, these communications, research skills, professional skills, and then the remaining 4 hours is totally up to you. If you need to spend more time in communications, that's fine. If you need to spend more time, if you're almost at the jumping off point and you're ready to go apply for jobs, and you want to spend more time in that sort of job hunting and entrepreneurship kind of area, that's fine. So you put your remaining time wherever you need it. Most students end up putting that remaining 4 hours in their training, whether it's for ethics, because some of those modules might be 4 hours long. But that's up to you, whatever you need. And students will stay in the SURE program. I've had students get multiple years of co-curricular credit, but you have to do 10 hours of different training each time. You can't just keep submitting the same 10 hours. Live and recorded both count. So there are people who are listening to me on live via Zoom right now. There's all of you in the room, but I'm also recording this and I will post it to our SURE site. And if someone watches it afterward, that's fine. They are absolutely equal. And we do it that way specifically because you all have totally different schedules and you need to be able to schedule in what you need when you need it. There's also a lot of self-guided training. So I've gone through this, kind of giving you an idea, but under communications, we do a lot of work around literature reviews and posters and oral communication. We always have an end of term symposium as well, which is also great for meeting other students. Research skills management, data management, ethics, safety, and any kind of training that you need specific to your discipline. And then professional development, networking, cover letters. EDI is equity, diversity, and inclusion. We do a lot of work around that, and the UN SDGs, and then a lot of entrepreneurship. There's another one that I have it listed here, intellectual property and licensing. This is a module that came to us from Research Excellence and Innovation, and I do recommend that one as well, simply because to understand how intellectual property works and who owns what you create is a really good thing to know as a student here at the university. So you might want to think about that one. This is the basket that students tell me that they have the hardest time filling because they're thinking that only the live events like this count. But in this basket, most of that is self-directed training because I can't give presentations on MATLAB and, there's all kinds of stuff that I can't do because I'm not qualified. So, but I create space for that when you guys have to go and take that training, you can count it towards your co-curricular credit. You can count it towards your SURE time. And that's what I do. The entrepreneurship modules, like I said, from Research Excellence and Innovation, there's a few really good ones. Business Basics 101, Intellectual Property and Licensing. I flagged those ones in particular I would recommend, simply because even though, yes, you're students now, you are going to be going out and entering the workforce, and having that kind of understanding of how the business world works and how the entrepreneurship world works. Even if you're going to be a doctor, you're gonna own your own medical clinic, right? Like a doctor sells their services to the provincial government, right? So you own your own business, even as a doctor or a veterinarian or whatever it is. So some of those business basics might be kind of handy. Something that students often forget that we have here at the U of S, but the U of S library has access to LinkedIn Learning. And LinkedIn Learning is phenomenal because there are literally thousands of training sessions, anything from 5 minutes to 10 hours of training on anything that you can imagine. So Python, MATLAB, SPSS, Excel, how to give a good oral presentation. There's training on almost anything that you can imagine. And every USask student has access to that that's paid for through the library. And all of the training that anything that you don't know how to do and you need to learn real quick, I would recommend that you try that LinkedIn Learning and see if they've got modules that fit your schedule and fit what you need to know, because all of the time that you put in through LinkedIn Learning can count towards your co-curricular credit for the SURE program as well. So do keep that in mind. Students tell me, particularly students in first and second year classes, one of the things that they had no experience with in high school, but they showed up in university and all of a sudden they have to do research and they have to learn Excel. So if you're looking for the basics of Excel, that's a good place to go, is LinkedIn Learning and learn some of that. I've used it because historians don't use Excel unless it's, I'm just keeping track of what journal articles I've read or what I've done for research on my latest project. I don't do math, I don't do formulas, but some people need to, so it's there. Students often ask me, well, where do I find this stuff? How do I know if it's going to qualify? Send me an email. That's probably the easiest answer. But for the most part, if it's related to research, and if it's related to research skill development, that's your big umbrella. So if your department has some kind of extra training around lab safety or has some, or you need to do some of that extra work in your class, part of that could probably go towards your 10 hours that's required for your SURE co-curricular credit. The other place, of course, is those emails. So when you sign up for SURE, you get an email from me, usually Mondays, usually in the morning, because I try and get it out so that you guys kind of have an idea of what's happening for the rest of the week and can sign up for stuff. So the emails, I do post everything that I set up on Pause as well. We have a Pause channel. So you can actually, so when you're next time you're in Pause, key undergraduate research, and then undergraduate research, my Pause channel will show up, and you can favorite that and you can find stuff there, and all the sign up links are always there as well. So just so you know that it's there. I am going to be making some changes to it because it's pretty bare bones, but our website is probably the best place. So if you want to bookmark that one, so our Sure website, that's another one that I update all the time and make sure that all the latest links and signups and news is there. Yeah, so that's probably the best ways of, yeah. So hopefully, and of course, following us on social media. Sorry, I should have put that on there, but I do try and post everything on social media as well. So if you're on Instagram, follow the Undergraduate Research Initiative, and you'll find everything that's coming up. Now, in the fall and in the winter, I try and pop them out in the emails. If anyone's already getting the emails, they're really big and long. They're omnibus emails. I'm sorry, but there's lots to tell you. I do try and pop out the upcoming library workshops. All the library workshops in writing, research, and citations qualify towards your Sure credit. Lots of students want to put their study and exam skills stuff towards their Sure credit. That doesn't actually count, just so you know. It has to be research intensive. So your writing, your research, and your citation, those all count. And whatever fits your schedule. So if the graduate level of whatever it is you're interested in learning fits your schedule, go take a graduate level seminar. Don't worry, it won't be above your head. You'll be fine. But you're welcome to go to the graduate ones as well as the undergraduate, and then you'll be able to just, classify those. Yeah, just tell me, what you attended, and that's fine. The library is no longer recording their seminars. They're back to in person, but all of their past seminars, which go over pretty much the same content, are on the library website. So if there's something specific like how to write your opening paragraph, how to write your first university paper, there are sessions around that, and they are recorded on the university. So the USask library workshop. So when you go to the main library site, there's a button at the top that says Get Help. That's what you look for. Hit Get Help, and it pops down, and then it says take a workshop. Go to the workshop pages, and then all the recording stuff is at the bottom. So we also have our own YouTube channel. So this is the Undergraduate Research Initiative's YouTube channel. And as of this morning, I think it was 223 subscribers. So it's been growing, which is good. We're happy to see it. It's every time we have a session such as this one, I am currently recording. When it gets uploaded, this is where it goes, is to our YouTube channel. And if you go under videos on that lists all the videos that we've had, for the last number of years, for the last 2 years, they're all there. So sometimes there'll be more than one video on the same thing, more than one video, say on building a research poster. Just click the most recent one, because I usually put the date in there as well. So just click the most recent one, and that will guide you. But any of them will probably be helpful. I haven't taken anything down off the website, so it's getting a little bit cluttered, but you guys are all smart. You guys can figure it out. The confirmed events so far for the Sure program for fall, in addition to all of the library webinars, because there's tons coming up. I don't know if you guys have checked that out, but the library has a lot of sessions coming up. But there's today's session, What is Sure? Next Monday is the research landscape. So I'll give an overview of what research looks like at the university. And then the week after that, how to approach a professor for a research position. I'll talk a bit, but then I have a panel of students lined up, and they'll talk about how they landed their research job, and that might give you some ideas there. We're probably going to run that session again in October because we know that one's quite popular. We are running 3 student faculty mixers for undergraduate research. I only have the first 2 listed on there so far, but we are running 3. So we're running one at the end of September, one in the middle of October, and one again in November. And we actually have 6 faculty already signed up for the November one. And I haven't checked this morning, but there's probably some more. So what we'll do in those sessions is that the faculty will be just like me, standing up, giving you guys 3 minutes about their research program and trying to recruit you. And I'll have all of them go in a row, and you guys just sit and listen. and just enjoy. And if there's someone that you are interested in talking to, I'll move the professors around the room, and then you can have conversations with them. So that's the plan for that. We ran 2 of them last year just through Zoom, and we had over 10 students find jobs, find matches. So yeah, we know they work, so we're going to continue. Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. So anything that I've listed that you register for, that you attend, all of them are included, including this one. Yes, go ahead. It'll depend on which week it is, or which session it is. What I'm going to do is that any of the students who've signed up for a particular session, I'll send an email to let you know which professors have signed up. And I'll probably blast that out to all of the SURE students as well, just so that you know which professors, and you can do some preliminary research and decide whether or not you want to come to those sessions. Yeah, whether there's anyone in your area or not. Yeah, makes sense. But yeah, no, I thought of that. And another session that I would like everyone to go to, if you have a chance, you can watch an older one online, but the basics of research data management, Kevin Reed is coming to do that on Wednesday, October 26th. And so if you can fit that one in, high recommend. And there will be more, absolutely. Yep. Yeah, your CCR, so your co-curricular record will show up in your transcript. And what we do is that at the end of the term, I send out an email. It's like, okay, if you think that you've accumulated your 10 hours and have done enough to qualify for your co-curricular credit, there's a survey that I make you fill out, and that you tell me which sessions you were in and give sort of an overview of your experience with SURE and with research. And then I'm the one who actually uploads it to the co-curricular record. Okay. Yeah, so there isn't, you won't find, if you go into the co-curricular record and you go looking for it, you'll see it, but you can't actually upload it yourself. There is a process in place, so that has to come through my office. Yeah. This is how I send out invitations and set things up. So I use Eventbrite, and the reason why I use the sign up is that then when if I have a student at the end of the year who says, yeah, I got my 10 hours of SURE, and I haven't seen you come to any of the sessions, I'll be like, really? Which sessions did you go to? Because I never saw you in anything. So it's a way for me to, kind of cross-reference how active people are. It's also really handy because it sends you guys reminders and notifications. Your session's coming up in 2 hours. Your session starts now. And I don't have to do that. That's all automated. So I use Eventbrite. And I'm sorry for cluttering up your email, but universities run on email, so get used to it. The second thing that I use is MailChimp, and that's what I use to send out your emails on Monday. And that's actually where the registration sits, is in MailChimp. So I just copied and pasted that into our website. It simplifies the ongoing registration, and that's what I use to send your Monday emails. Sometimes I will send more than one email a week, not very often. If you guys get a second email, it's because there's something that's time sensitive that just came up, or there's a job that I need you guys to know about. Yeah, so sometimes that'll happen. A few student comments. Students who have gone through the program, and especially those that have had a summer job, really found that the SURE program was a good complement to that. So SURE tends to work best if you're taking a class or a capstone course or an honors program or a summer job, but it also works on the flip side. So a lot of the students who join the SURE program, they do this to show their commitment and their interest in research. And then they can take that when they go to talk to a professor to say, hey, I'd like a job in your lab or in your research group. And you can say, I'm showing my commitment to research because I've been part of the SURE program, and these are some of the things that I've learned. And so that'll help too. What we're finding is that professors across the university are starting to hear about SURE, and they'll even, ask me, do you have any money? I want to hire a SURE student. So they're looking, to me for extra funding to do that as well. So, and what I do really like is that when students tell me that they've they've shared the resources, especially on the Sure YouTube site with the people in their class or other people in their research group, including graduate students. We actually have a lot of graduate students that show up for Sure events as well, because, you know, it's cool. And also, and the friendships and connections. So that's sort of the next thing that oh yes, got to tell you this. So who keeps track? I am not your track keeper. You keep track. I do have a downloadable PDF if you're interested, print it up and then just, you know, and keep it on your computer. You keep track of what events you've attended or what webinars you've watched. You keep your own track. Then I will send out that survey at the end of the term, and then you have to fill out the survey and tell me what you did, and then I can give you your co-curricular credit. All good? Does that make sense? Okay. And yeah, so, and we upload your CCR into the system. Okay, other frequently asked questions. I didn't finish my Sure credit last term. Do I have to start over? No, just keep adding hours. You know, if you only managed to get 4 extra hours in one term because you got really busy and you want to just keep adding, you can, you know, just stay with it. And when you finally have reached your 10 hours, then you can apply for your co-curricular credit. You don't lose them. And who uploads them? That's us. You, after you fill out the survey. And then there's not a lot of research management webinars, and that's because the majority of that are training sessions offered by other service providers or things that you need to do depending on what discipline you're in. So that's why I can do fewer of these umbrella sessions around that. But we'll give you co-curricular credit for that time. So yeah, student connections. So what else does Sure do for students? So we work pretty hard to do some student-led spaces. We have had in the past a student club called Science, Research, and Society. The student who ran it went off to graduate school this fall. So I'm looking for someone else to run the Science, Research, and Society Club. What they often did is that they would identify guest speakers, and we'd have guest speakers come in for a Friday lunch and learn. And they were quite good and lots of fun. We also did a lot of social events around movie screenings. We've got some lab crawls that we're planning for this fall. So we're usually looking hopefully Friday afternoons and to do some lab crawls across campus, not alcohol, but just go to a couple of labs and learn about what they're doing in those labs. The secret USask tours are really popular, but they're very small. So you have to sign up as soon as you see one that interests you and that fits your schedule. Usually, they usually cap at 15 and sometimes just 10. So they fill up really quick. But what I do is that I create spaces where we go to, say, the heating and cooling plant, which is not a student space, and we take you and it's really quite cool. We've gone to the physics building. We've done the physics building, everything from the machine shop in the basement all the way up to the, I don't know if you guys know this, but there are telescopes on the roof of the physics building. So we went up to see it right from the machine shop all the way up to the telescopes and saw the plasma lab as well. So there's certain tours. So the ones that we've got coming up this fall, we're going to have a tour of the Canadian light source. So if anybody's never been there, we're going to take that tour. We're going to do an art tour of all the art spaces across campus, including seeing where the extra university art is kept in the vault. And I can only take 10 students in there. So that one will be very, yes. So that we're still working on the date for that one. We're going to the observatory on the third Saturday in October. So that one's coming up. Of course, the observatory is always open the first and third Saturday, but sometimes it's nice to go with other people. And so we're going to set that up. And back to the heating and cooling plant, I think Friday, November 4th. So some of these secret USask tours are coming up as well. So those are pretty fun. We also advocate for students. We had a group of students this summer work on a student supervisor agreement because we have that at the graduate level, but we don't have it at the undergraduate level at the university. And so we wanted to create one. And we've just had it pass through all the faculty that read it for us. And so we're just moving it through the USask processes. And hopefully by next summer, we'll have that agreement in place. And yeah, so student supervisor agreement, that's another, yeah. So these are some, greenhouse tour, I forgot to tell you guys about that. So a greenhouse tour is another one that we're working on for this fall. So again, we just try and take you guys to spaces that either they might be open, but maybe you just haven't had a chance to go there, and we give you a reason and a time to do it. So yeah, that's what we do. Social organizers are wanted. So if anybody's interested in the Science Research and Society Club, please let me know. And we are working on some lab crawls. We also do a lot of work. We do a lot of student profiles. So we write a lot of student profiles, any students who have done some research, and we can profile them. So you'll see those on our website. We also we have a podcast. It's called Tales and Trials of Research. And we think there's about 17 podcasts on there so far. And the next one's coming up that we're going to record in the next couple of weeks with John Howland's lab. John Howland does a lot of research with rats here on campus, and 2 of his students are going to come and record the podcast with us along with John. So the final thing I want to tell you guys about is the symposiums. So we run capstone events. My office runs 2. So we run the one at the end of summer for the summer students. We run one, in fall, sort of end of November, beginning of December, for anybody who's had fire classes or honors classes, that they did a research project for, and they want to share it with the broader campus community. We only started that symposium last fall, so it's just getting going. So it's the smallest. The 3rd symposium we don't run, but we support, is the USSU Spring Symposium. And they have about $7,500 in cash to give away every year. So if you have even a class-based research project that you have done, I highly recommend that you put it into the USSU Symposium, because the chances of you winning money, and a significant amount of money, are high. So I always tell people about that one. So this picture is from our summer symposium, which was just 3 weeks ago. We held it in Convocation Hall. And yeah, so that's really all I wanted to tell you guys about. So this is the link to our link tree, which gives you all the socials across the bottom. So you can, follow us. You can, find us wherever we are online. And please feel free to join SURE if you haven't already. If you've already signed up, that's great. But if you haven't followed us on all our socials, this is how to find us on all our socials. And yeah, and now I think I'll take your questions. Did everybody get everybody who needed it's got it? Good. I'll leave it up. It's just the husky. Does any what questions do you have? Absolutely, go ahead. Yep. So the question is, what's the commitment to be on the Science Research and Society Club? Really, it's just an organizational role as much as anything. It's just, getting together with some of the other students who are also interested, and identifying, what are potentially some guest speakers that you might come in, and then doing the legwork to get the guest speakers. I can help on the back end to make sure that we've got a classroom. I can book a classroom. I can book, create a Zoom, I can do all the back, I can advertise, to the SURE students, and I can, create the signups and all of that stuff. But I'd really prefer that it's students who are driving who comes in. So that would be great. So I would say probably an hour a week is lots. And then, like some weeks it might be 3 and then not do anything. And we don't run it every Friday, simply because there's Fridays when the university is closed, or, we've got reconciliation, and we've got Remembrance Day, and those both fall on Fridays this fall. So, it's not every Friday. It was probably twice a month is when we ran it before. So yeah, it's a good one. And the thing, we also did quite a bit of sort of just created social spaces for the students within that. So now that we're back on campus, we would be able to do things like, maybe we'd have like a lunch and learn, or have hot dogs, or stuff like that. I'm just thinking off the top of my head. We did have an ice cream social once this summer, that everybody ate. Boy, you had to eat that ice cream fast because it was 33 degrees that day. But things like that. I happily share our past Google Docs, and so you can kind of get a sense of who we've invited before and what kinds of things that group has done. But if anyone's interested, just send me an email. So merle.massie@usask.ca. You're welcome. What other questions? Go ahead. No, what we do, so that's a good question. So what we do with the mixers, the reason why we do those mixers in the fall is because one of the tri-agencies, so faculty across campus apply for research grants from the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council, which you'll hear someone say SHRC, NSERC, which is the Natural Sciences and Engineering Research Council, and CIHR, which is the Canadian Institute for Health Research. So faculty apply to them for grants. But if they've won a grant, they usually know that because they're teaching in the winter, usually the majority of research time often gets kind of pushed into the summer. And so they're planning ahead. The second thing that happens is that one of those granting agencies, NSERC, actually has a specific undergraduate grant. It's called the NSERC USRA, and it runs through my office. My office supports that. And one of the reasons why we do these mixers in the fall is because in those applications, which are due in January, you need to have both a professor and a student. They both have to apply. There's two parts to the application. And so professors, if they've got a research project and they're looking for a student, we need to have those connections in place in the fall so that they can apply for those opportunities. Does that make sense? Yeah, that's how come. No, in some cases, a professor might ask you to come and see their lab, maybe spend an afternoon, see if it's the right place for you. But it's, I don't recommend that anyone gives their time voluntarily. If you're being asked to conduct work, you should be paid for it. What other questions might you have for me? I know, there's a lot. Absolutely. Yep, absolutely. So if anyone would like that and they'd like, maybe some suggestions from me of modules that I think might be more helpful to you given your, your disciplinary background, absolutely. We can shove a half an hour in my schedule and we can have a meeting. You bet. Any other, and what have I missed? Because I'm sure I've missed lots, but if you have more questions, please feel free. I always seem to talk more than I think I do, but. You said that it's very specific to yeah. It can be. There's a couple of places. So any of the undergraduate research that's been conducted at the U of S, if they've been part of any of my symposiums, especially for the past 2 years, I always had an online component to this, including the one this summer, and it's actually still open. So I've been hosting those on Canvas simply because university professors sometimes don't want their undergraduate students' work hitting the open internet, right? Because maybe they want to publish it in a journal article. Maybe they, want to publish it in a different way. And so we've kept it on Canvas because that way you have to have a USask NSID to view. So all of those are all still available, and there's links on my website to check out those symposiums. And I can, if the links aren't there, if I've removed them, just ask me. I can send them to you. Another place is Harvest. So Harvest is the University of Saskatchewan's repository for any past research but again, there's limits there as well. Some professors have uploaded stuff, but others haven't. The most common place to find research that's been done is, of course, published journal articles or published books. That's where the bulk, 90 to 95% of their work gets published in those venues. But another place where you can kind of find out what's happening or what researchers are working on is actually the university's communications. So news at news.usask.ca, because the university does a very good job of communicating very broadly. what their researchers are up to. And, you know, if there's a new research chair, or, you know, somebody won $5 million to study, you know, cannabis, or which, you know, absolutely, we've got all kinds of research happening across the campus. And so research.usask.ca and news.usask.ca both have lots of stories. Your department, they all have their own website, and any department level announcements, those are also good places to go to find out what's been happening recently, or what, you know, people have been up to, because usually they, you know, they're looking for advancement, so they need to talk about that. And the last place to think about is if there's a particular professor that you're interested in. Every professor on campus has their own, either their own lab web page, or they certainly have a page within the USask system that kind of, it might talk about their upload their most recent journal articles or links to them, that kind of thing. So those would be the best ways that I can think of, is, yeah, just kind of ear to the ground, paying attention. You'll find new stuff posted on pause. All of the news.usask.ca gets posted automatically to pause. So, and those are all kinds of news stories, and probably 90% of those are about research projects that are just been funded or ongoing, or just discovered something cool and interesting. What other questions might you have for me? Absolutely, go ahead. Yes, there are part-time research jobs. Yes, in 2 weeks, when I do how to approach a professor, I will also talk about the 2 places to find those jobs. And one is careers.usask.ca, and you click on staff and faculty, and for whatever reason, that's just where they get posted. But there's a lot, and I try and watch that every week. And if there's something specific to undergraduate students, I will pop it into the email for the SURE students to know that there's particular opportunities. And the Career Center runs their job site, and a lot of jobs get posted there as well. And yes, it is possible to land a job with, you know, in a professor's lab or in their research group, part-time over the year, and then it'll move to full-time in the summer. That happens. They're not always going to be on Mondays, but some of them are. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I will record all of these sessions. Yep. And watching it afterward is equal credit. What other questions might you have for me? Any questions online? If anybody online has one, just put it in the chat. Okay. If there's no more, if you have more questions, send it to me in an email. Other than that, thank you all for being here. Thank you for joining us. And good luck. If you haven't already joined SURE, please be welcome. There's no, I'm not going to come after you and yell at you. How are you doing? Do you have your 10 hours yet? You know, I'm not that way. Joining SURE is about connections. And then how you go through your research path is up to you. All right. Thanks, everyone.